I can't wait for this series to be over so I don't have to keep dressing up like this all the time.
Hey,
I think you look good.
You
Nick.
chose your outfit.
Nick, you made it hard on yourself, my brother.
You picked an extension cord, a hatchet, a kimono.
Welcome to the Spooky Screen, where five best friends review horror movies and television shows. For the past several weeks, we have been reviewing Showtime Network's breakout hit, Yellowjackets. For those who are new, please go back to episode 1, our review of episode 1, and listen to that. But if you are stubborn and you're going to stick through with listening to episode 7 as your first, Yellowjackets is a show about a group of high school girls who survive out in the wilderness after their plane crashes, and meanwhile, their adult counterparts grapple with the aftermath of that traumatic and mysterious survival 25 years later. With that being said, we're going to dive into the episode spoiler synopsis. Now, emphasis on spoiler. We are reviewing episode number 8, which is titled Flight of the Bumblebee. And we will be spoiling the entire episode. So just to quickly run through it here. We ended episode 7 with Van presumably dead through a horrific wolf attack out in the wilderness. Thaisa was crying out, realizing her girlfriend is now most likely dead. But in the very first scene of episode 8, we find out Van has lived. She is still alive. Her cheek is horrendously torn up. You can see her teeth, but she is still living. And it turns out that Van is not dead. Yes, Nick, you did call this in episode 7. You get 100 points to Gryffindor. Good job on that. So Nick knew that it was coming. I love the quote that she has at the end when she gets thrown off the pyre safely. Looks at all the girls and says, "Really? Fire?" Which I thought was hilarious. Got a few laughs out of me. Anyways, moving on. We watch Shauna starting to really doubt who Jeff is, which is what a lot of the guys in this group were clamoring for. She's starting to Adam is not Jeff. Jeff is her husband. She starts to think that Adam slept with her because she was a Yellowjacket and he wants to sell her story. Misty, meanwhile, is snorting all of not Jackie's cocaine. Jesus, I have all of my names messed up. Natalie's cocaine, and
It's actually
reveals to
Jackie's.
her that Travis's bank account was empty the night before his death. Very suspicious. Shauna allows Thaisa to stay over for the night because of her sleepwalking habits. They bond over some pillow talk, like the teenage girls that they once were. It was a callback to, I think, that night when they were sleeping together in the attic of the cabin. Finally, Shauna works up the courage, confronts Adam, who ducks all of her questions, and asks her to go to a remote cabin in the woods where he'll tell her all his answers if she comes. It's a great idea. Fantastic plan. Natalie blackmails a former sponsor into looking into Travis's finances for her because she works for the bank. Jackie reveals Jackie reveals Shauna's pregnancy to the entire group because she's vindictive about learning of her best friend's relationship with her boyfriend. And then Laura Lee, at the end of the episode, learns of Shauna's pregnancy, decides that enough is enough. She's going to fly off for help, and her plane explodes in the sky, and she goes out in a blaze of glory. She is definitely dead. Rest in peace, Laura Lee. So that is episode 8. Spoiler synopsis. We're going to quickly run through the gimmick and then we'll dive into likes and dislikes. So I asked everyone in this group to bring one object that they definitely brought with themselves to a Christian camp, because the opening scene of this episode was Laura Lee at a Christian camp, swimming in a pool, hitting her head, bleeding out, and then surviving the ordeal. So I'm going to go first. I definitely would have brought things that would have made me look cool to all the lady Christians at this camp. So I definitely would have brought.
Why did you say it like they're a species? The lady Christians.
This is definitely how I spoke also back in the day when I was going to Christian camp. So I'm bringing a cheap pair of sunglasses to make myself look super cool.
Can we interject that all of us have actually been to a Christian camp?
Yeah, we've definitely all been to a Christian camp. So
this is authentic stuff we're bringing.
Exactly.
We know what we're talking about.
I definitely brought a pair of sunglasses to make myself look cool. And they were aviators. They were not trendy like Ray-Bans, but
I'm
I
pretty sure
thought
aviators are
looked super
trendy right
cool on
now.
me. Was that?
Pretty sure aviators are trendy right now.
Are they really? They always
Yeah,
go
but-
in and out of style.
But regular aviators.
Yeah.
Like no sunglasses.
Yeah. So, anyways, I picked sunglasses. Johnny, why don't you go next? Hit us with what your object is.
Well, when I was a young wee lad, I
Wee
went
lad?
to what was called cross training camp.
Maybe you shouldn't say the name, Johnny.
I mean, that's just what it was called. I don't think it
Okay,
exists
okay.
anymore.
Okay.
It was a
Yeah,
camp
I'm pretty sure it's just
in the
fun.
middle of Ohio, and it was basically like a military camp for boys. It was all boys, and you had to do drills. It was like fake military.
they're
And so
training you
I
to be
brought
terrorists.
my military camo private hat.
That's a good one.
You would have brought that to a summer camp?
I mean, I would have brought it to.
Called
I might have, David.
Got him.
And I can't fit
Called
with my
out.
headphones on, but this is good enough.
These outfits are just getting more ridiculous. Like we are definitely not surviving out in the wilderness right now.
I am.
Like,
I got my
Speak for
goggles.
yourself,
I got
son.
my hat.
Anyways.
You
I got
have
my
a potted
jacket.
plant.
Bro,
anyways,
Look at
me.
my forest.
Look
in
at
the
me.
wilderness.
I am ready for any freaking wolf. I'm so strapped.
Your ears are protected.
that denim is thick. It's like
Yeah.
cartilage.
Yeah.
You defend against the fangs of a wolf.
All right,
Noah,
David,
oh,
Paperman, go next.
Oh.
What is your object?
It
It's
better be
making
good, David.
dinner.
huh? I'm making dinner.
Someone's making dinner back there.
I'd be the talk of all the town because I'd be the only boy who brought deodorant.
I thought you were gonna hold up a tampon.
No, I'd bring deodorant.
All right.
That is
Well,
a terrible one.
you can't wear deodorant like
You have
You
to
can't wear
live.
deodorant.
He has his invisible
But how
deodorant
do you-
shield on.
But Steven, you're asking us to. We got to be creative, right?
That's true.
That-
I like the creativity though.
Just wear it
Yeah,
as like
yeah.
eye makeup, like war
50
makeup.
points to
Right.
Hufflepuff.
Put it on your cheeks like
I
it's
could,
trying to reflect the sun.
David.
I could.
Put it on
I
your
could
tongue.
thr-
Put it on your tongue.
I could throw the wolves
it for
off
the
our
pod.
scent by. No, I'm not going to put deodorant on my tongue. I could throw the wolves off our scent by scraping our scent on like trees and stuff like that to detract it.
But wouldn't
That's
you
actually
be
that's in
tracking
a
on
book
the
I read.
trees?
That's what. Yep,
Hmm?
that's a book I
It would
read.
attract them to the trees instead of us.
Yeah, they
All
wouldn't
right.
be able to track the smell and follow you with the thing in your bag. Yep.
Oh, see, so you made fun of me, but you
No,
must
no,
have
I'm
been-
That's
telling
a
you,
one-
it's not gonna work. I'm telling you, it's not gonna work.
It is.
All
gonna
right.
work.
That's
We're
a
moving
one-time
on.
use at best.
We're moving on. Nick, hit us with your object.
So,
If it's a
Attack
kimono, I
spray.
swear.
well, it's very true that
Or
growing up, I never went camping until I think we went camping with Troy that one time. And that liked to have knives, and they played with knives a lot. So, I
You're
got
gonna
Oh
bring
my
a
god, you're not
You're gonna
bringing
bring
a
a
knife to a Christian
camp?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
yes,
I would
every
too.
Christian
Actually,
boy always. If
There's
they
always
would,
the
they'd
one kid
bring
with
their
the
dad's,
knife.
Like,
There's
Times
always-
were
BB
different back
gun.
then, folks. Times were different back
they
then.
bring. There's always a kid with like a BB gun, an airsoft gun.
How do you think I
Right?
got this K bar? Christian
Exactly, Johnny's my example. Like that's why
Alright.
this works out so well.
Johnny was the knife kid. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
That's right. You did buy knives in San
Everywhere.
Francisco. Yeah.
I'd buy knives everywhere.
I remember when you went on the class trip. Yeah. Okay, Noah. What is your Christian camp object that you're going to
Alright.
be wearing?
I feel like I'm the most practical one of the group. Everyone knows that a Christian camp is no hotel, so you gotta bring your own bath towel.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Otherwise, you're using their bath towel, and you don't know where that's been,
Or
or even
your
if it's a
bunk
towel. So I'm adding to my layers for winter.
It's extra warm.
I look like a rabbi.
You look like a rabbi.
We're going to
God,
move
I
on to likes and dislikes.
I'll go.
Give a well thought out reason for why you liked or disliked this episode. Be specific. Boil down your reason to the ultimate why. And Nick, why don't you go first?
Ooh, I wanted to go first too.
Great.
Okay. So I'm gonna say that I actually really liked this episode.
Oh
This
my
episode-
god, it's a miracle.
Wow,
This episode
Nick.
was very well thought out. It was
Okay.
compelling. It was very well paced. Everything about this episode was fantastic. except in my opinion, the end. The end was a little too
Okay.
overkill, but I know we're gonna get into that later.
What specifically did you like the most about this episode that sets it apart?
That
Nudity.
everyone had character. Jackie was like Jackie being a bitch.
Reverting
Fantastic.
back to her high school
Yeah,
diva
like
ways.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
That was great. The whole thing, like, yeah, Van got attacked, and the intensity of Van getting stitches in the cabin, like just sitting there as everyone's just sitting around watching her get stitched. The character growth of the coach, now that we know Coach Ben, is it Ben? Coach
Yeah.
Ben's gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everyone got character. Everyone, got thought out. Everyone got everyone got a little something this episode. But still, it's just too little too late. This should have been episode 2 or episode 3 at best.
Okay.
2?
Or
Yeah.
3, maybe 5. Maybe 5.
This episode,
but,
no, because this episode, if they
Okay.
wanted to make this series a series about them being in the wilderness, then I need breakneck stakes at all times. Like, this showed that things like this showed no hope. Every chance they get should be no hope. Like, hey, let's try this, no hope. Hey, let's try this, no hope. Like, no matter what, tragedy after tragedy, like, to beat them down, to show like, man, these girls are really in it. And this episode did that so well. I believed their struggle so hard with this episode.
Okay. Great.
And that's what
Wow.
I really loved about
This
it.
was
But
the first episode Nick watched.
What a
Again.
time of events. Yeah, it's like the Boba Fett.
too
Boba Fett
little,
TV
too
show.
late, though. Still,
All right, Mr. Canadian Rabbi, why don't you hit us with your likes or dislikes?
FYI, this is really hot.
You can
You
take
brought
it
this
off.
on yourself.
you look
Go
like
on.
a wise man.
I'm committed.
Where's your myrrh, wise man?
Oh man. Okay.
Why do you keep putting blankets on top of yourself? I don't understand.
I don't know where else to put them. Where else do I put them?
Over
Uh,
your shoulders?
Pick
I
a
don't know.
different
My
object.
hands.
No,
Okay.
screw you. I was practical.
Toga
You
yourself.
can bring a towel to a Christian camp. Don't you lie.
Bring
What-
it
All
to
right.
the bar.
So I liked this episode. I feel like it was the first episode in a while that I actually felt compelled to watch the next one, and I wasn't allowed, and it made me angry. Because as soon as it ended, I wanted to just hit that play button just to find out what happened, because it ended on such a good cliffhanger, and everything that came before it was just, I don't know, they just kept delivering the punches, right? It felt like we started to see what they've been setting up. I do still agree with Nick that it's a little late. It's just
Too little, too late.
Yeah, it's too little, too late. It just feels a little like I can't believe there's only 2 episodes left. You know what I mean? Like
True,
that
yeah.
feels weird where we're at in the story.
Agreed.
I still feel like it's 1 episode behind. I hope that changes in episode 9. I hope it fully catches up. But it was very interesting to watch, and I liked a lot that happened. Like
Okay.
like I said, a lot happened, and I love the cliffhanger the most.
The cliffhanger of
She opens the door to Adam and says, "Who the F are you?"
got it.
Because
right.
I want, like, it finally happened. You know, it finally,
The shoe
like-
dropped.
yeah, like the shoe finally dropped, right?
Yep.
We're gonna get some, like, resolve. We're gonna get some action. We're gonna get some
Yeah, correct.
consequences.
Okay.
There's no more meandering at this point.
Definitely not. Yeah. David, hit us with your like or dislike.
All right, I definitely agree with Nick and Noah that maybe it should have happened an episode or 2 before that it actually did happen. But other than last week, I would say this was probably my most liked episode so far, because I felt this was the best utilization of the adult actors the whole season. Everything that the adults were in, the adult girls, I was really invested in. From Misty's like breaking into Natalie's apartment and them having that like interaction where she snorts the cocaine and she kind of like does this kind of heartfelt confession, but it's like you kind of see how messed up her brain is, and of course she's like doing it for all the right reasons. I don't know, the scene with the bird and then everything with Natalie and the callback scene that they did with Thaisa and Shauna, where it like mirrored like what high school girls do or like what high school kids do. Like you're at a sleepover and you're like just talking about stuff. It was just it was just so well done, so well shot, so well written. I feel like every piece of dialogue in this episode was worth the actors delivering it. Nothing was superfluous. Nothing
Oh my God, David,
detracted.
what is this?
I don't know. It just was
Bow down
really.
at the altar of episode 8. Oh my
I,
God.
Johnny clearly didn't like it.
all
No,
right,
but I mean,
Johnny.
like, it's the biggest hyperbole, the most extreme praise you could give this thing.
All right.
Well,
Speak
no,
your
it
truth,
just
David.
well because the season just felt very dragging in a lot of the adult and utilizing the adult actors.
I get it, but every single sentence, every scene, like that's pretty high
All right.
praise.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll
Why
go
not?
to you, Johnny. Then, what
2
do
out of
you
10.
think about this episode?
I was not impressed. I'm surprised you guys all like this so much. I
Really?
really am. I'm blown away. Like I got through it, and it's been picking up pace a little bit, but like nothing profound happened. We all knew Adam was up to something. I called it a couple episodes. He is the one who did the heist. She found the glitter, like obviously, like, and when ending on a thing that says "Who are you?" Like we've been asking who is he for 5 episodes. I don't need the actor to end on a cliffhanger. It says, "Who
Guys,
are
it
Johnny,
you?"
finally
you're
happened.
missing the point, Johnny.
not
It's
missing the
not the
point.
mystery that's being solved. It's the fact that the characters realize it, and so they now have to be. There's a
It's
call to
uninteresting.
action.
It's uninteresting. There's 2 episodes left. There's no major, large scale supernatural mystery. Van didn't actually die. The consequences aren't real. Yeah,
Laura
Laura. Yeah, okay, she dies, and there was like this magical moment. Once again, they make up their own rules that are unexplained. The magical fire, like they haven't revealed any of that. Nothing makes sense still, and I don't like it. I think I know what you guys are saying. It was better paced. It was more action, but with no room to resolve well, with no actual thread that's interesting. Nothing new that I didn't know would or could happen happened. There was nothing surprising about this episode for me.
Okay.
You know what,
Zero.
Johnny? I've resolved myself to realize that they're not going to resolve everything.
But you've lowered your
this season.
standard, and that's a failure, David.
It's not
F.
lowering your standard. It's
Guys.
realizing it. I've after listening to our conversation or thinking about our conversation
I'll
that
pick
the
on you
creators
next, Nick.
that the creators are want 4 to 5 seasons. I realize we're not going to get everything this season or even
David.
next season. So it's a
David,
long haul.
David,
And
you've lowered your
Long
starting to-
standards. You've lowered your
I'm
standards.
not lowering my
and
standards.
I'm
I'm
gonna
setting
cut you.
myself up. I'm setting
Love.
myself
Being
up
realistic.
for
All
a
right.
ride.
We don't condone threats of violence on this podcast. Let's just be
What?
clear.
What
All
is
right.
wrong with cutting someone with love?
I'm
Nick.
putting my holy shawl back on.
I'm Dexter Morgan, basically.
All right.
Nick,
So,
why don't
another
you hit us
Showtime
with
hero.
some knowledge?
Only
here?
Noah's.
Well, let Nick talk.
So 2 quick things. One, we've actually addressed this problem right now, where Johnny is and where I am. How I love this episode, and Johnny's very surprised. About 3 or 4 episodes back, we were talking about how we're gonna wait to see the difference between like me and Johnny swap spots, and whether or not we start really liking this show, and one of us really starts hating it. And it took until 8 episodes into this season for Johnny and me to officially make the swap.
Yeah, pretty deep.
And 2,
Swap wop.
and second point, just real quick, can we all agree the best line in this whole episode is "I'll Venmo you $300 for the blow"?
That was very good.
Like, and she said it so matter of fact, like, look, I'll just Venmo you $300 for blow, okay? Calm down.
I will say the episode missed the golden opportunity to give us high on coke Misty throughout the entire.
Yes.
Like I was just like, when I first
thought
watched
she
this,
was.
I know,
I'm
but
pretty sure she's like high on coke.
She's like the
sniffed
bird. The
so
bird.
much cocaine, like it was like a plate's worth of it, and I was just like,
Like she's
Right.
never done cocaine before.
she was like
Yeah.
coked out of her mind, and I was just like, this episode should have gave us coked out Misty. Like, who would have been coked out Misty? Like, I wanted to know.
Another failure.
See, my thought
That-
was
that
that,
might have been a
her
little
being
too-
acting crazy with the bird and like crying about it being like almost
That-
dead,
that's-
and what she
that's
said
not-
to it made her.
That's not coked out any more than that's just Misty being Misty.
Yeah, like
Okay.
she was
My
keeping
opinion.
it down on lock. Yeah.
Deeply
Anyways,
unimpressed.
let's so 3 likes, one strong dislike. It seems like.
Very strong.
We're gonna move on to
One
some
strong one,
questions.
that's
So let's first visit Laura Lee, right? I think all of us had issues with her character at the beginning of the season because of how they were depicting her. I will personally say that they have made, like, they have kind of clawed back some of that goodwill for me, because she has kind of shown in different ways through her faith in this season. But I want to know what you guys thought about her demise, how the show utilized their character up until their death. And if you didn't like it, like how would you have fixed her character?
Oof, that's a tall order.
Okay.
So Nick, yeah, why don't you go first?
To me, Laura Lee's demise was very unnecessary for this particular episode. There was
Okay.
already a lot going on, and it feels like Laura Lee's death was an unnecessary punctuation mark in an already very good episode.
Could I ask you this question, Nick? Would you have rather Vance stayed dead and Laura Lee would have lived?
Uh, no, I like Van more than Laura Lee. I think Laura Lee still could have died. You could have just saved it for another episode, so that
Okay.
episode could also have impact.
Okay. Good to know. Anyone else want to jump in?
Yeah, I would actually pick up on what you said there. I would do that. I
Yeah.
would have preferred Van to stay dead and just commit. I didn't like the swap with Laura Lee. Is that how you say it? Laura Lee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Laura Lee.
And I thought that, taking one of the potentially supernatural spiritual characters who could have built up a whole momentum under their own wing was a loss for the show, and it was something I was looking forward to, and I really thought that the way that she went out was like completely uninteresting. The fact
Yeah.
that the plane was able to get out, even though they said the vines had it before, and the gas tank, the gas has been sitting there for 20 years. Gas expires, like just so many like little stupid things, like, and then it just a magic fire explodes there. I just thought that was lazy. I thought it was lazy.
Okay. Good to know. David, Noah,
I
any
will
thoughts about Laura
agree
Lee?
that
Yeah.
I was at first a little disappointed that Van didn't die. I like it when shows commit to killing character. I think it is interesting, and I think it as a viewer it builds up integrity. That as a viewer, I'm supposed to believe in the writer director's decisions, but when they start like doing the fake out deaths, then you
Red
can get a
herrings
little
everywhere.
uneasy. Yeah, then you can get a little uneasy. I do find Lorelai's death
Laura
interesting, or
Lee.
Laura
Laura Lee.
Lee's death interesting in the fact that the relationship that they built up with her and Lottie, and she was kind of Lottie's compass, and
Mm-hmm.
she was keeping Lottie in check, and now Lottie has kind of lost that. So, what are the influences that are going to affect Lottie, and how is that going to affect the group? I think that is an interesting thing that they're setting up. But losing her as a character, no, I didn't really care because we didn't get too much other than her relationship with Lottie.
Can, can I just want to say two other things really quick. We didn't talk about Van. Like, Van comes back, and to be fair, they almost hinted that she was a zombie, in my opinion.
What's
In what
that,
way?
Johnny?
What do you mean?
She's
But
an
I mean,
alien.
Van came back with this crazy vision, and her eyes were all crazy, and like she
Oh,
had
I
this
see what you
crazy
mean.
filter over her POV,
Mm,
and then she kept saying it's not safe. I could have leaned into that, and maybe there's more. Like, maybe it's more red herrings. I don't know, but like I do think David's point about building a little bit of integrity would have gone a long way with this show. Like, if you need to get Laura Lee out of the story for your plot with Lottie, then let her be the one who dies. But like, I'm still not convinced that Van and Laura Lee's incidents in this last episode are going to result in a long-term plot. Just commit to one. Like, just commit to something. It's
yeah.
getting frustrating to not commit, in my
Do
opinion.
you? Yeah. You want decisive
A
reveals?
little, just
Yeah.
something. One
Yeah.
decisive reveal,
Yeah.
and not
All
the
right.
predictable ones, right? Like, because the Adam one as the heistman, like that was predictable the whole
Yep.
time. This was like just in a single episode, something happened, and then you also don't commit to it. It's
Yeah.
confusing.
Fair enough. Noah, do you have anything to say before we move on to the next question?
Yeah, I will. I think early on, maybe it was episode one, I said that Laura Lee's character kind of bothered me because she felt like a caricature. She felt like someone that didn't really grow up in religion wrote them. So it was very outsider perspective and it kind of felt goofy. Um, I will say that as we watched through the series so far, that there was glimmers of fleshing out her characters, like her calling her piano teacher, "I see you next Tuesday," and bonding with the girls over that. But I still feel like she never became more than a caricature, and even her death kind of felt like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
for me, they brought up the first when they do the flashback, it's her at a swimming pool at Christian camp, and she bonks her head, and they say that she would have died, but it was God, right?
Mhm.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
and that was just felt so
Oh
cheesy and unrealistic.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
all went to Christian camp, as we mentioned before. That's never happened. Like, counselors were
Yeah.
never that cheesy and
And
weird.
Yeah.
ignorant.
Yeah,
And
and
I
the
so,
whole camp is not draped in weird signage and like I don't know, it's just like
and
stupid.
I will say that I didn't like her demise. I felt like it was just. I'm guessing they set up, her almost drowning to kind of give her the faith to fly the plane, to feel like she believes that God's going to lead her through, and then it blows up, which is fine. It, like Johnny said, it is uninteresting. I like that she was flying the plane. If I would have changed her story at all, I would have just had the plane fall into the ground, and not us get any perspective of her in the cabin. And so it leaves her demise up to like a question mark instead
Mhm.
of her teddy bear setting on fire and exploding. Like, I felt like it felt kind of forced. Does that make sense?
Very
Yeah.
Yeah,
forced.
No,
it did.
absolutely.
It almost felt like they were trading one off for the other. And that's why I
Yeah.
asked the Van Laura Lee question. I will reveal a little tidbit about this episode. Laura Lee was actually supposed to die in the pilot,
Hmm.
but they were so impressed by the actress that they expanded her character for the rest of the season. So um, she did a table read for the writers and did so well that they were like, oh, okay, we need to build out her character more. So
Hmm.
um,
So
I
she
think
was never meant to have like a
right, she
huge.
was never meant. I think that kind of leans into your caricature um,
Yeah.
opinions as well. Like I don't think they did a good enough job of fleshing her out. And then once they decided that, like they, that's when
But
it
if you're
started to
gonna
get
make
Yeah.
if you're gonna make an exceptional show, you don't just add because you had like like you felt that like you literally felt it the whole time, and she was a throwaway. It didn't add to the show because she's a great actress. Get her another gig where she can shine, but don't like drag someone through the mud to be a pointless character.
Can I
agreed.
ask you? Can I ask you, Stephen? Did you think the plane scene was good? Like, not so much them using the plane to escape, but the
I was
resolution.
I was unimpacted by it, and I thought that the wolves did a better job of depicting this
Hmm.
forest,
Yeah,
keeping these girls in place rather than an airplane exploding in midair. And I
Mhm.
yeah,
thought that they already signaled that in the previous episode. They didn't need to do it with Laura Lee. And I thought
Mhm.
Laura Lee's character was actually becoming fascinating enough for me that she could have kind of.
Gone on.
Someone said about her being the moral compass for Lottie, that could have been a great dynamic to kind of see play out over seasons, right?
Yeah.
She's like going through this
Mhm.
like journey of faith for the next one or two seasons, and she's starting to really question her faith because the rescue's just not coming, and she keeps praying. Like there could have been so much more mind from that, and I just kind of
yeah.
felt like there was a missed opportunity with her being killed. So
Yeah.
that's
I
my
think
official thoughts.
Can
I
I
think
just
what's
say
oh yeah, no, go Nick.
real quick? Can I just say I don't know if anyone noticed, but when Laura Lee was flying the airplane and she saw the teddy bear catch on fire, she didn't freak out.
I think
She
she
just
knew.
grabbed her cross and just kept flying. Like, did she know like she was gonna die or
I think it's
because
just yeah.
you have to remember like Lottie kind of foresaw this, so like is she believing that Lottie foresaw that? I don't like. To me, there's a lot of good open ended questions with
Mhm.
too little season left. I don't know if anyone
Yeah.
else noticed this though.
So that goes into my next question, and we should dive into that because we're coming up on time here. Is like we have 2 episodes left in this season. Has this episode set up momentum, a sense of pacing, kind of like an end game in place where you guys are now excited about the last 2 episodes, or you're just like, I don't know how they're gonna stick this landing. It seems like a lot of people are like, I love this episode, but this should have been done earlier. This should have been set up earlier so they had more room to breathe in episode 9 and 10. So
I'll go
yeah,
first.
yeah, Noah.
I will say 100% not. I think it was a good episode. I think it
Mhm.
delivered on a lot of things it set up, but I do not see a clear landing. I do not see yeah, I don't see how it's going to end satisfactory. I don't see how they can fit everything they want to fit in. It doesn't feel like there's enough enough steam to reach the top. Does that make sense?
That makes
where
sense. Yeah.
where you want it to get to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like a little boop. I need it, and it's not a train going chugga 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 chugga. It's not unstoppable. It was kind of like just taking a step up, and I needed that train going on end of episode 8. I
Yeah.
mean, come on, there's 2 episodes
do you
left.
know what sucks for me? I'm still know a spoiler. And it sucks.
Oh my god, Johnny! I
Well,
thought the
it's a big
spoiler
one.
that you knew was
I
that
thought it was.
Adam was
I thought it was
the
about.
guy.
I thought it was about Shauna's pregnancy.
Nope.
No.
It's
Okay.
more, and it was this one meme, and I know what it is, so like maybe that's tainting me a little bit, but it's pissing
Yeah.
me off.
Maybe it is. Yeah. David, Nick, do you have anything?
Just
Like what?
reframe
Same
the
thing.
question.
Do you agree with what Noah's basically said? Like you like this episode, but you just don't have any clear idea of how they're gonna land this plane.
I like the episode, and like I was trying to say earlier, I've resolved myself that this season isn't going to. I want it to end satisfactory, and I think it's going to end with a big lead into season 2. And unfortunately, I think that's just how they're gonna. That's just how they're gonna end it.
Yeah, with a big
And
red herring.
Yeah.
or a big reveal. It's just it is what it is. They're not going to finish this story in 2 episodes.
No reveal.
It's obvious they're not going to end it. So I'm just kind
We're-
of enjoying the last 2 episodes.
We're not
Yeah.
gonna know Thais's issue. We're not gonna know the resolution of much. They're gonna leave us with a red herring that doesn't give us any info, and then expect us to be excited for them to make another season.
No, what I do fear
Come on.
is these next 2 episodes are going to focus less on the girls in the past and just more on Adam. And I think the season's big reveal is going to be Adam's involvement in all of this or whatever, or another cliffhanger dealing with him. And yeah, like Adam should have been resolved, or I don't know.
Okay.
Adam
There
should
are
have been
flaws.
resolved
I mean,
before the season got halfway through.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I do think this was a really great episode, and I stand by like the momentum that I thought it had, and like the acting that was in this episode and the direction. But I can see the cards, that this episode are setting up, not just kind of falling flat on their face.
I just don't understand the hype.
Yeah.
It's such a big hype.
I think it's
To me-
about the ending, Noah.
I
Do you
guess.
think hype
It
killed
has
this
to be.
show?
Yeah, because I'd say hype built it, and at the same time, there were viewers who were getting hooked every week. The base kept growing, and to me, that is especially puzzling because I feel this series was a lot of fluff before we really got to the meat of things. And now that we're at the meat of things, in my opinion, still stands. We're just too little, too late with this show in terms of story. Like, we have 2 episodes left. How? Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, how are they gonna land this? It's more so of just like with 2 episodes left, we're gonna. Of course, you're gonna give us something ridiculous. Like it feels like they intentionally told the story half-assed to make sure they had the rest of the story to tell us later.
Can I just say one thing?
Go
My
ahead.
shawl fell off.
Should
I will get it later. The only thing of substance that happened this episode, I still like the episode, but the only thing that really happened of substance that is going to carry over into the next episodes that's different from the rest, because, them trying to get out, that's been done for the last couple episodes, right? Them meandering around, thinking of ideas to try and get out. Yes, we've done that. So the plane exploding, that's just another, oh no, woe is us. But the only thing that's really carrying over that's changing the game for me is Adam and Shauna finding out about Adam. And I want to see how that plays out. But to me, that's not enough. That's not enough to carry you into episode 10 and making it a big thing, unless it's going to be absolutely mind-blowing.
Could you say that?
No, do you want me to
the
tell you what
first-
it is?
I don't want you to tell me what it is, Johnny,
Could you-
because
do you,
I've suffered through this episode by episode for 8 weeks now,
It's
and
really good, Noah.
no, I don't want to know, Johnny. Please.
No, would you say
Really good.
that
It's
the
so
death of
good.
Laura Lee isn't compelling enough because now it's the first death in the girls' actual group? Like it's the first real character death that they have to deal with now.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
they don't even have to deal with it. She blew up over a lake. They don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
At least
Well, now
Dan,
the
they
next
had
episode they're gonna have to grieve.
I don't know.
No one liked her.
I don't know what
What do you mean no one liked her? They liked Laura Lee.
And she
Did
was
they?
like,
Yeah.
there's Laura Lee.
I
Thank
don't
you.
know what
They
I don't know
didn't
what,
hate her.
I don't know what writing technique they used, but I really don't like it in shows that are supposed to be about mystery and solving it when we the viewers see something that the other characters are never ever going to see. They're never going to know that some mystical fire erupted and killed Laura Lee and blew up the plane. Like that that is superfluous information. That builds up
It's
mystery in
lazy.
our eyes as a viewer, but it doesn't
lazy.
do anything for the characters in the show. It doesn't
So
lead them anywhere. It doesn't give them a clue. So yeah, maybe
David
this
takes
has
back
some.
his comment
No,
of
I don't
every
get back.
sentence.
Yeah, all right, maybe the last like 30 seconds. Oh, Nick,
You're
Steven, we
muted.
lost you.
You're
Or
muted.
you're muted.
Sorry,
We
I was
lost
I
you.
was agreeing with you the entire time and praising you. Basically, I like your point. I think that is a really great call out, and it's almost as if like the writers are teasing us, but they're not giving the characters what they need to figure out what the hell is going on out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the theories. Does anyone have any theories that they
Can
want
I
to
ask a
add? Yeah,
quick question,
go ahead,
Steven?
Noah.
I'm just curious because I want to gauge you a little bit. Has your opinion changed since you're watching this along again with us?
Yeah.
Steven's, you've already watched the series, but you're doing the episode by episode with us. Has your opinion changed now that you're following along with us?
All I'll say is that I am willing to watch season 2 on my own, even if we decide not to review as
Okay.
a podcast. That's all I'll
Okay.
say.
Has the shine rubbed off a little bit?
A little bit. I think we've seen now that we've really dove into the writing and the pacing and the back and forth between the two timelines. Yeah, there's definitely things to critique, but I think for me overall, like I will keep watching. That's all I'll
Okay.
say.
Thank you. I just like gauging you every episode just
Yeah.
to find out.
Theories. Does anyone have any theories they want to add? Nothing has been disproved yet, other than Nick nailing it on the head. Van did not die. But we have 2 episodes left, so
Well, I did. Well, mine was wrong. I did think Jeff was the burglar or
yes, that's
the
right.
blackmailer.
So,
Which he could still be.
I'm pretty sure I said Adam was the burglar.
no,
I
Dave
thought
said Jeff.
Yeah,
But
I
I
was-
did add Laura Lee. Your thing about Laura Lee being Lottie's compass, because I think that was an astute observation. So I added that in.
Well, she seemed to be the most one wrecked about
Yeah,
their death.
exactly.
Like she goes into the water.
There
and
might be
she,
some development there. Does anyone? Okay, so if no one has anything, we're gonna just jump right.
I think
to
it's hard to care anymore because they're just consistently not delivering. You know,
Johnny's butt hurt, man.
Yeah, he was not.
It
Like
just
Well, I
think
frustrated.
we're also-
I'm frustrated.
we're
Like
also
I
at the-
keep calling the long term guesses are easy to call, and then they give you short term surprises that you could never see coming because they do it in 1 second, but they're not
Yeah.
satisfactory, and it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I will admit there's been no surprises. That has been a little bit of a bummer.
yeah, not a single surprise yet. And sadly, I think the one that I know of is spoiled for me, which makes me more bitter. So
what's like the one really like weird surprise? We're the only ones who saw it. Like the bear catching on fire and actually causing like physical harm.
I didn't like that.
No, I didn't like it either. But like that's the only real mystical thing we saw, other than kind of Lottie's.
but that's not a long
pseudo-possession.
term thing, David. I think my point is
No,
just
no,
like
no. And I also think for theories, we're also at the point of the season where we want answers.
Yep.
You don't want to start. You don't want to
Yeah.
keep guessing long term
Yeah.
answers.
I
want-
do not have a theory whatsoever.
Okay, so then I'm gonna take that as a no. We're gonna move on to the ratings and close this out. All right, so David, why don't you give us your rating review?
Sure. I'm gonna
No, you
give
look
this.
like Mother Teresa.
Yeah. I'm gonna give this episode an 8 out of 10,
Wow.
what?
just because
Get out of here. Get out.
I do
Get out,
think
Johnny.
I do think I'm most
Let the man
likely
speak.
going to be disappointed by the end of the season, but acting wise, I think this was the best utilization of all the actors of the season. I think everyone really just brought their A game in this
All right.
episode. They
Okay.
really bought into the story.
Nick.
Noah has
rating.
to go next.
Nick, rating
It's
and
getting
review.
too hot.
Like the Chiquita Banana Lady.
I'm going to give this. You look like the women from Robin Hood Men in Tights in the scene they had to cross dress.
Focus, my friend.
I give this episode a 7 out of 10. This is definitely on the David scale. This is definitely rewatchable for
Okay.
sure.
Ooh.
All right.
I really, again, great pacing, great intensity. This episode really bought it. I agree with David that they were on their A game. And honestly, I'm a little upset Laura Lee's dead. I'm actually going to miss her character.
Oh
I am
my
too.
god,
I
you're
am
so
upset.
sentimental.
I think they were dating.
Johnny.
Yeah, you know.
Nick thought she was cute.
Time,
As
time
you-
to synchronized
Oh,
celebration.
that'd be totally the girl Nick would go for at Christian camp. That'd be 100% the girl you'd crush on. He knows
That's
it.
the
That's
real
why he's
one.
laughing. That's exactly
the real
why
Probably.
he's
question we need
laughing.
to
No,
answer.
It's so
that's
true.
That's the real
The
question
girl who
we need
blows
to
up.
answer, Steven.
The girl who blows up, that's the girl I go for.
So
Who are our high school crushes?
Okay, I want to go. I did not like the episode, and despite
Clearly.
the episode doing what the team maybe thinks is good things,
Ooh,
maybe
the
they
team.
were whatever the group here. There's a bunch of
Survivors.
successes we listed. Sadly, this is a TV show. It is sequential, and this show it put a lot of pressure on these last episodes, and I think it flopped. So I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 10.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
Because I was
Johnny
deeply,
is-
deeply
man.
disappointed that there was nothing more significant revealed. Everything
my
else was
God.
lazy.
I gotta
Yeah.
take my shawl off for
So
that.
Johnny
Out
has
of
waited
respect
in the
for
hot
this
summer for
TV
ice
show.
cream.
Because,
He bought
see,
the ice cream and
the
it's
way it
dropped
worked-
on the floor.
the way it worked for me was it kept just, being like a dick punch where I'm just like, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. Oh, finally. And for Johnny, he's like, yeah, come on. You know what? Screw it. I'm tired of it now.
Yeah.
You know,
All right.
when the trailer for the show comes out, they should use that tagline. The dick punch.
All right, Noah, hit us with your score and your
All
recommendation.
right, my score is a 7 out of 10. I don't think I've gone higher than a 7 out of 10, so I want to reserve my 8, 9, and 10s for, episode that
finale.
blows me away.
What
And
about
did-
this is rewatchable, Noah? What David? You guys are giving it 7 out of
Johnny,
10.
we've talked about this. We gotta close this out.
I believe I'm talking, Johnny.
Johnny's just bitter.
Put your knife away. I've lost my train of thought, but as I was saying, it was a good episode. It was above average in my mind, but it was not spectacular. As I said, I don't see the momentum. I saw bits and pieces, but that was it. And I am interested to see what happens. I just am not confident it is going to wow me. So that's what the 7 out of 10 is for. I'm hoping that 9 gets above a 7, and I hope 10 gets even higher. So I'm looking confidently into the future while Johnny is moping dour soap head.
I'm
All right,
reserving
so
one for
final
season
score
10 episode
is a
2.
6.25, and we round down or up, so we go to a flat 6. Johnny
Johnny
tanked
brought
the
us
rating.
down.
Yeah.
Good. That's where the series is at right now.
So, all right. So I'm going to close this episode out. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter at The Spooky Screen. This has been a review of episode 8 of Yellowjackets.
Yeah.
Flight of the
to
Bumblebee.
podcast.
Like and subscribe to our podcast. Review it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please, if you can. We would love you if you did that. And thank you for your support and for listening to today's episode. We'll be back with more on a weekly basis. So we'll see you soon, everyone.
Stay spooky.